What's up?
Hello. Yo, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, I don't see you at all. Can you turn your camera on?
My camera's on. I'm not sure why it's not showing me. Let's
I
do
have-
it. There we go.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I just saw where you wrote she. I thought you wrote she, not he.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll start exactly at 9, although I guess John's already recording, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, he's about finished, it looks like.
Yeah, but I don't think he's joining us because he's got like 10 different things all at the same time. So yeah, once we'll wait exactly till 9 o'clock. Oh, it's 9 o'clock, Dane. That was absolutely incredible. For those of you that tuned in, you guys just missed the live stream. We had an incredible time. We had thoughts of celebrities join us. Thank you very much to Casey Kasem and Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse for joining us today. So I'm not quite sure because I guess it's the first time that we've done this with Disc Jockey News. So this is pretty cool. I guess they're doing multiple rooms all at the same time and people can join in. And then John is going to post this on YouTube. And then YouTube is going to say no.
Us.
Yeah, it's you know, I'll be honest with you. At this point, I'm almost thinking I'm just not going to do YouTube anymore. I'm just going to do the live streams on Facebook.
Yeah.
It has been such a disaster. So, how was your 2017, sir?
Pretty good. How about yours?
You know, I can't complain. Company-wise, we grew, which is important. This has been the biggest. Oh, hold on. We have somebody joining us.
Is someone actually there?
Yeah. Well, this has been the year where a lot of good things have happened. A lot of crazy things have happened. A lot of bad things have happened. And yeah. Hello, Chris. I see you just joined us. Yes? No? Check 1, 2. Chris, are you there? Okay. Well, it says he's there, but he's not there. So for those of you guys that are not right now, it's Wednesday, December I need to check my phone, 27th. I keep thinking it's a 28th, 2017. Those of you that are not here watching this and you're watching this on YouTube, what this Jockey News is doing, it's basically the big live streams that they do, but now we're doing, I think, like 4 or 5 of them all at the same time. And people can tune in, join in, you know, pretty much discuss and everything else. Oh, and there is John Young.
Hey, there's John.
Hello, John.
Hello, guys. Just checking to make sure we got all the rooms up and running. So, yay.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't see your video.
Yeah, I don't have it on yet.
Oh,
there he is.
Whoa.
Yeah, I can turn it on. Yeah, I'm just bouncing from room to room. I've got one more room that's not working right, so I got to get that one, and then I'll be bouncing back and forth.
All right, sir. I guess we'll see you in a bit then.
Thanks, guys.
Bounce
All
out
right.
now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Young. So anyways, no, it was, I mean, it was a good year for school dances, Dane, because I set a goal for our company. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we hit on that goal. Sometimes we are right in it. And a couple of times, very rarely, we didn't quite make that goal. This year was a little bit nervous, and we killed it. And we killed it by almost $20,000 over the original goal, which is like, woohoo! And then we spent $100,000.
Well, to be fair, there was a lot of great gear that came out this year, too.
Well, you know what? Almost none of that was gear. That's the sad part. I mean, we did buy like the 12 EV subs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have the EV stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's great. I got sick and tired of Yorkville. I mean, every day I was replacing a freaking Yorkville driver, and at least with the EVs, we didn't have that issue. You know, I can blow the piss out of them, and they're not going to blow up on me.
You know, and speaking of that, that's something John, I don't know if you said, John was talking about earlier. It was about the evolution of like the 12-inch and how the 12-inch is just taking over the market. And that was us this year, our EKX 12s that we got this year. I never would have thought I would take 12s out to do a wedding or something. And
you know, I did not hear that, but you're absolutely right. I guess the car person of me doesn't understand why people hate 12-inch subs so much, because yes, the bigger a sub, the more air it can move and the deeper of bass that it can hit. But in a large room, unless you have stacks and stacks of subs, that deeper bass is worthless, really.
Yeah.
So then you're really looking at volume, but for you to move an 18-inch sub, you're going to need a lot more firepower, or we the technical term, you're going to need a lot more ass on an amp to be able to move an 18-inch sub than you would, let's say, a 12. My wedding system, I have the Yamaha DXR10s with the DXS 12 subs, and those subs don't sound like 12s. And I think the same thing could even be said about the EVE-TX 15. I've heard the 15 and the 18 side by side, and until you get to that those low frequencies, you would never be able to tell.
Yeah, most events you're not going to be even noticing that.
So, and obviously, man, a lot of people are when they're, I guess, John, I have advertised about making money with school dances, so we'll talk about that at some point. But in reality, the main thing I want to cover is I wanted to cover the whole end of year. This has been a very crazy year for our industry, and we say this every single year, but I think there's a few things. And, for those of you guys that don't know, Dane and I do not prepare for a show in any way, shape, or form. Never have, never will. I see there is a gentleman that says Eminem that just got in. So Eminem, we don't hear or see you. Same thing with Chris.
Yo.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, M&M like to eat M&M. Okay.
Yeah, like the eating M&Ms. By the way, have you noticed that the M&M caramels, the guys are like holding that caramel M&M apart, and it smells caramel? That's somebody's body. Like, that's one of their peers' bodies. They just ripped apart. Like, oh, here's the entrails, right in caramel. Like, that is freaking dark. But anyways, no. So Dane and I don't prepare for the show because we want to give you a genuine show of no preparation. But one of the things I think that when we talk about this year in review, the one thing that I've noticed, yes, you're absolutely right. It is definitely the year of the 12s. I have seen more 12-inch and even 10-inch speakers being used this year by mobiles than ever before. Definitely the microsystems. I'm seeing less facades. Oh, hang on one second. Chris says, sorry, I don't have a micro video, but I'm listening. Well, Chris, welcome and enjoy. So you have the, what is it called? Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, so you've got a lot of 12s. You have people using 10s. You see a lot more facades. People are using more of the work tables. The ADJ facade, yes, that's, that was really popular. But now I'm seeing less people use those type of facades and more the actual event tables. And ADJ has the event table. There's the UK version as well. Global Trust had that event table with a little crank up thing. The first one was just god awful.
Yeah, that was very bad.
The prototype was just bad, which is why nobody ever saw the prototype. And then they came up with the final one, which is really cool. Yeah, well, yeah, none of the normies, the civilians. But then they came out with the final one. The final one is a really cool looking prototype. Excuse me one second.
And that was Arnoldo Offermann, everybody.
Oh, sorry, I just realized an LED strip fell on my fish tank. Oh, my God. There's about $300 worth of fish in there.
I would say, no, they're electric fish.
Yeah, they are. Wait. No, okay, that's a plan. Fishy's going on here. No, so, oh, thank God. Actually, here, I'll show you guys real quick. There is my fish, and I'll turn that on later so you guys can see. It's got it's all iPhone controlled using the Airstream Wi-Fi packs. I have a program to turn on and off and all that. But anyhow, I didn't want the black lights to turn on, and there's a thing there. But anyhow, the other thing is, again, you see a lot more of the event tables, and I think the DJs that were so obsessed with, if you think you're not the real DJ, those guys are gone.
Yep.
I have not heard that sync debate as much. And the first thing is, I think people would say, well, it's because that horse has been beat to death. And yeah, it has been. But if there's anything that we know about DJs, Dane, is that, DJ,
it doesn't matter if it's been beat to death.
Does not matter. In no way, shape, or form does it matter. The other thing is that, and those of you guys that are listening in, of course, feel free to, put stuff in the chat comments and all that. The other one is, okay, well, maybe they're just tired of arguing, which is kind of like on the same one. It's been beat to death, but, maybe they're just tired of arguing, or maybe they've converted over. Which, yeah, it could be that too. But you know what I think it is, Dane? I think it's because those guys that use that sync debate use Serato. Because the guys that use Virtual DJ and Tractor, they all had the sync button. It's been there forever, and it doesn't mix.
And most of them don't use it.
Yeah. I mean, and some of us do. I use the sync occasionally, but not in the way that people think you would use sync. I just use it in case I'm power mixing. I just need the 2 BPMs to match the sync numerical value, but I still manually mix in. I've never hit that. I think the reason is because now Serato has sync in it for the controller and the DVS. And notice that the moment that that happened, suddenly those guys just shut the hell up. The only ones that I still hear are the ones, well, I use, Scratch Live. Well, that's why. But I guarantee that if Scratch Live had a sync button, you would not be hating on the sync.
Yeah, the other thing you notice is it seems like controllers have just exploded this year.
That was actually my next one. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Controllers are huge. And I mean huge in the sense that, yes, everybody's using them this year. I believe you use a controller as well, or do you still use your
I still I'm on CDJs and turntables still.
Okay. So you have the CDJs, or you have the controllers that's similar to CDJs, like the SZs. You've got the Denon units and the, the Newmark NS7. But they also gotten huge in the sense that these controllers are as big as a CDJ and a mixer. So that kind of leads to the question.
They're a full system. I mean. So really, what? And of course, when the controllers first came out, oh, you'll never see them at a nightclub. Well, why? And I never understood that. And now you do. They're everywhere. Yeah, one of the nightclubs that I do the lighting design for, they have a controller there. They've got an SZ. So I see the SZs everywhere you go. Because what's the difference between an SZ and having 2 individual CDJs in a mixer? One thing to break. That's it. Of course, and it breaks. The whole thing goes down. But it's even right that way to turntables. That's why I personally never hated on controller DJs. I mean, heck, I use controllers. After I gave up turntables, I switched to CDs. After CDs, I used the DAC3 from PC DJ. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. By the way, I still got a whole bunch of them, guys. In case you're interested. But then, what's the difference between a turntable using DVS and a controller, really? I mean, how you use it. Yeah, and I think a lot of DJs will still debate that. Well, turntable's different because you're using real vinyl. No, you're not. You're using DVS. That's not, I mean, yes, it's real vinyl, but it's no different than, an actual controller, except for the fact that timecode will never be as accurate as MIDI, which leads to the biggest thing, I think, of 2017, and that is the 72 and the 12s. I think that's going to irk a lot of DJs because you have the guys like myself, and this is weird. And I know you and I talked about this, but on one hand, I'm so tired of having needles break on me. And you use turntables, what a pain in the ass is. Or that one time where there's something wrong and you can't figure it out and you can't get that perfect little circle in DVS. For those of you guys who don't use turntables, whether you use Virtual DJ or Serato, when you put the turntable and it's playing the time code, it gives you a little circle. And you want it to be a perfect circle, which means a perfect time code signal coming in. And sometimes you get a line. And you don't know why you get a line. There's no rhyme or reason. You're sitting there switching needles out, switching the whole cartridge, the head shell, everything. You just, for the life of you, can't figure out why. Dane, I was doing a beauty pageant, and we have this thing called the white party in the beauty pageant. Let me explain this to you in 2 terms. First is the business term, and that is where I'm getting paid a lot of money to put on the best show possible. An insane amount of money, honestly. And of course, we have all the AV and all that. But that night, all I'm there to do is the DJ. So all that money is my performance, And then from the dude's perspective, I'm the only guy surrounded by a bunch of beauty queens. And here's one of my turntables. Wah, wah, wah. That's not working. Oh, what God. The hell do I do? I got these cool things here. They just don't work. Yeah. So thank God, again, because I use Virtual DJ and, I have the reloop, so I can at least control MIDI. Or I couldn't cue stuff up as far as actually cue it manually, but I queued it the one side with my mouse, and then later I just had everything running off one turntable, and that worked fine. But I'm like, that was embarrassing. That was a pain in the ass, having to get up early the next day, going to Guitar Center. First of all, having to go to Guitar Center. Let me explain one more time. Having to go to Guitar Center. Waiting an hour for somebody to tell me the item's not there when I'm literally looking at it. But anyhow. Wait, is this Best Buy we're talking about? Yeah, I know, right? God, fuck Best Buy. No, but it was all that, and I'm tired of it. No, I was tired of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm excited about this controller that gives me the power of vinyl.
but it doesn't look like a turntable. And that's the other part of me. I'm like, I don't know, because I don't care what I DJ, and I know that I can personally rock the party. I know that you feel that same way too. You know, I've had to use my Apple Watch because I forgot my laptop one time.
Only won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, I won't make that mistake. Nope, never again. Thank God for the Apple Watch and iTunes Music, and thank God it wasn't a major event. It was just a lunch jam, but still. And actually, no, that's I think happened twice. So now there's like one permanently in the truck. No, but you know, there's the part of me that's like, I kind of like the look, because especially when you do weddings, you get these old geezers or just people, even hipsters or whatever. They're like, oh, is that an actual turntable? Like,
Oh yeah.
Now, have you noticed that ever since you switched back to turntables, do you get people like, whoa, is that a real turntable?
Yeah, I've actually had I did a wedding this summer. I had a guy probably in his 60s or so come up to me and he's like, "You're using turntables?" He's like, "I didn't know people still use those." I'm like, "Well, you know, they're digital. It's, you know, I'm not actually pulling records out of a crate. That, you know, it's all digital." And I was showing him, and he's like, "Wow, that's crazy." He's like, I used to have a set of those. I love those."
Yeah, and I guess that's the one thing I'm wondering if I'm going to lose once I get the 72 and the 12s. I don't know. I am excited about not having to worry about using needles again. But this is definitely the year where I think a lot of DJs are on hashtag stay woke. Hello, I believe you're Matt, correct? It's not Zoom is not telling me. Yes. Hello, Matt.
Hello. Welcome.
We were, you know, talking about 2017, the recap of it. And just to kind of recap, you know, we were talking about how more DJs are now using like even 12-inch speakers than ever before. Before, you always saw DJs wanting to use like 15s. And now you're seeing more DJs using the 12s, even for bigger events. How less DJs are worried now about the whole sync battle. You don't hear as much of the sync battle anymore. And we think it's because now that Serato has sync, they got really quiet really fast. And this is the year of turntables and controllers. I think we see less just strictly laptop DJs. We're seeing more DJs wanting to show the performance of it. You know, I mean, yeah, emceeing is important, and obviously charging what you're worth is important, but damn it, we're DJs. Like, we have to look like we're pushing knobs and things.
You know, the one interesting thing I've seen this year, especially when you're looking at like the SZs and all those units, is, you know, as much as I hated the controller thing for years, is I feel like in some ways those are making people better DJs.
Absolutely.
People are now a little bit more willing to experiment and play around in a flawless way, and it makes them a better performer.
No, you're absolutely right. We could compare this to the drone industry. Drones are much easier to fly now than ever. You really, you know, turn it on. You don't have to pair with a remote anymore. They're ready to fly, what we call RTF, right out of the box. And what happened when drones first came out to that degree is that flight enthusiasts were like, this is going to cause a lot of problems. This is getting a lot of people who have no business flying. Basically, they're going to bring down the photography business, the aerial video business. Like, where have I heard this before? But what happened with drones, and I'm going to get really controversial, so be ready for this, okay? What happened with the drone industry is that the technology got there, but then one thing happened that made everybody become a better pilot. The government stepped in and started arresting people that were doing things illegally. And theirs is extreme. For those of you guys that are not familiar with the drone industry, Matt, I don't know if you're familiar with the drone industry or not, but if I take my drone, okay, and I want to fly it and get pictures of my house, and maybe before the hurricane hit, which I did, I went over to my grandparents' house, my mom's house, my in-laws' house, and we got photos of their roof before and after. If I charged any of them for it doing the exact same job, I would have been fined big time.
Yep.
So the government, there is no fine gray line. It's a big black line. Either you're making money out of it and you're not making money out of it. And if you're making money out of it, you need to take a class. You need to be insured. You need to have the paperwork provided to the FAA. So what happened is what took the DJ industry years to go from accepting the new technology to using the new technology to educating those using the new technology and creating a clear and concise and what's going to be a multi-million-dollar growing industry. The drone industry did in a matter of 2.5 years.
Yep.
I'm not saying the government needs to regulate the DJ business. I'm just saying, look at everybody else that's happened to. You know me, Matt, what do you think?
I would definitely say that drones have come a long way in the last even 2-3 years, definitely. Arnoldo, one of the things you did was on your YouTube videos, you did the Bubbletron, and you also did a video of your house and stuff. Great, did a great job on it. It was one of those things when you look at doing it for a wedding, are people going to be using it for weddings, just wedding rehearsals, or are they going to be looking for wedding ceremonies? It's one of those things, as you mentioned before, getting what you're definitely worth and getting people to pay you for it. But the question is, are you charging them a fee for doing it? I know you're doing it just kind of as a backup, just having it there and doing things. But what are people actually charging? Are people actually charging people for this now? For the receptions? Or kind of, I got it, so I'll put it out there for you.
Yeah, no, that's actually really good because I actually don't bring my drone to events. Even the commercial pilot's license and all that, it's just the wrong thing happening. Remember, we're in Florida where there's seagulls everywhere, and I'm dead scared of those things. Just to give you an idea how scary drone flying is around here, I went around one of the lakes, and I'll show you guys the video later. And out of nowhere, this is an area where there's birds, but not many of them. Bald eagle, whoom, came out of nowhere. Now imagine within a few inches of the drone. If I hit that thing, it would have been, DJ.
It would have been CNN.
Yeah, it would have been really bad. But what I have noticed is that, yes, there's a lot of people, especially photographers and videographers, that are bringing drones out. And half of them are not licensed. And it won't be long before the FAA comes down on them. But I am seeing DJs bring them out. And I'll be honest with you, Matt, that's the one thing DJs need to stay out of. They need to stay out of the drone industry because DJ insurance will not cover that.
No, not at all. Nope.
All it takes is one person screwing it for everyone, too.
Yep. It's one of those, the drones are not something that you can do while you're doing something else. You need to have somebody manning it. I just, it's kind of like, I don't understand like why DJs witch about photographers, because there's photographers now that are bringing uplighting to events and videographers. And there's actually a very good reason why, because they get the stuff that's flicker free and they can sell that. Hell, if I was a videographer, I'm like, listen, this is what cheap DJ uplights look like. Here's a post from a DJ wanting to spend $25 on an uplight. These are my uplights. They don't flicker, and here's the difference. So if I was a videographer, yeah, I'd go with that angle. And DJs did get upset about that, but DJs are also bringing out photo booths too.
Yeah.
So to me, it's that there's things DJ need to stay out of. I think drones should definitely be one of them. I use them for my videos. I don't use it commercially in that sense. Even with the pilot's license and all that, it's just not something that I ever want to get involved with. Not in that degree. There's private jobs, but just not entertainment. Between rigging, lasers, and all that, Matt and Dane, there's a point where you're like, okay, I'm taking enough risk. Like I was taking this risk here, and I'm taking this one, now this one, now this one, now this one. Something's going to go bad.
Hey,
it's going to be a chain reaction.
I'm hanging stuff above people's heads. Oh, now I'm going to throw lasers in there.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm going to drop confetti on them. Oh, wait, I probably should stop.
And it's things that people don't think about, throwing glow sticks. I don't know if you guys throw glow sticks at your events or bubbles, but all it takes is somebody to slip on a bubble machine fluid, and it's just as dangerous as if the trussing came crashing down on them. I mean, I don't think DJs really understand, but if anything in 2017, it was the year of growth. There are more DJs that are asking the questions like you just asked, Matt, that, they want to know. As far as what they're charging, I don't know. I mean, I know that around here you can get as little as $200 an hour doing drone videography and photography. Some of them get a lot more, and then there's the people doing it illegally that charge next to nothing. Personally, I just don't think it's worth the jail time. But that's just
Arnoldo, that's an addition to the services you're already providing for them already. And one of the things we talked about before, you actually weren't in Las Vegas this year, were you?
I was in Vegas. Yeah, I'm in Vegas every year.
They had a drone there, actually, on one of the events. They had a guy flying a drone around. And when he first pulled it out in the pre-event, the first night, I think on Sunday or Monday when we were there, everybody ducked down and was freaking out because the drone was flying around the hotel. We're like, what are you doing? The guy's like, oh, I'm just recording this stuff. We're like, well, did you ask her permission? Now we're at the Mobile Beach shows where DJs or entertainers, no one minds it usually. But think about the waiver. Think about the liability. If you take a picture on somebody's property that they don't want you taking a picture of, you mentioned you're using it for your family's house, and that's great. But think about the same thing with photography. DJs or entertainers, we tend to be the jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly.
People really have to look and consider what they want to do. And moving forward, it's great. You can expand. You can add on all these different services and things. But what are you really doing?
Exactly. And you can add on, but there's a point, especially for single ops. If you're a single op, listen, you can have a successful business as a single op, but stick to one thing that you're good at.
Right.
You can't offer 20 million things as a single op. You just can't. You're going to set yourself up for failure. I can promise that.
There's a reason I've refused to do photo booths and all that stuff for years.
But you know what? What's been interesting is this year alone, we have seen a lot of things really happen with some of the stuff that you just mentioned, which is your liability or release of liability, not release of liability, but
waiver. Permission to take a picture.
Okay, yeah, whatever. There's a name for it, and I can't remember. Now, for example, in Florida and almost every single state, I can fly and film my drone as long as I'm not focusing on somebody's house specifically.
Yep.
But I can film, I can do whatever because that is not your property. That is national airspace, and you are just the background of that airspace. I think that is a very okay law. I'm okay with that because I'm on a wide-angle camera. I'm not going to be able to see you. Now, there are drones with zoom cameras. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big problem really fast because people are going to try to shoot down drones, and they have, and they shouldn't. But that also ties into our industry because what's changed, especially with school events, is, well, you have to get permission from all the parents to post photos and videos. Thanks to social media, that's gone. Yeah. I'm seeing teachers post stuff on Instagram. I'm seeing teachers post on Facebook. And yeah, I mean, with some schools, they say, hey, you know, just don't post anything that singles individual students out. Yeah. And this was before social media. And I'm like,
I'll say that's kind of become passe. Nobody's really complaining about that too much anymore like it used to be.
No,
it used to be the big freak out. And now it's just kind of, okay, it's whatever.
That's changed because Facebook, all the photos and videos that go on Facebook are commercial property of Facebook.
Yep.
They do not belong to you. They belong to Facebook. So you can't tell a vendor, no, you can't post photos online, but everybody else is. So that's really changed. Now with private schools and all that, that may be a little bit different. But after a while, even my private schools like, whatever, just make sure the students are behaving. Yep. But now that changes the next big thing of 2017 that's kind of rocked our industry and DJs don't know about it. Copyright law has really gone weird. Let me give you the biggest example. Disney. Have you seen all these people on YouTube doing all these Disney covers, right? It's a big thing. You know they're not paying Disney at all, royalties.
Oh, of course not.
And Disney didn't go after them. And this is not a hidden secret. This was released in a press release that Disney is not going after these people that are singing covers on YouTube. Why? Because it's promoting the Disney brand.
It's not hurting them.
Yeah.
It's not directly intended to harm them. It's, you know.
Exactly. Now, that's one of the things, okay, well, that doesn't apply to our industry, but it does. It really applies to our industry.
Because then it's the same as if you're playing someone's songs. You're not hurting them by playing their songs. You're helping them. Yep. Same thing.
So for a school event,
but if you try to cash in on it, if they're charging for the service or they're doing a Disney show and making money off of it, that's when Disney has a problem.
Well, so here's where it gets really interesting. So I did a school event, and it was a Haunted Mansion homecoming. And we literally took teachers singing Grim Grinning Ghosts, and we recreated that whole part from Haunted Mansion. Now, I got the Grim Grinning Ghost song legally. It's technically
it wasn't like 1936 or something.
Well, yeah, but it's still under copyright because Disney obviously extends the copyrights. But I can't remember where I got it, but it was I think it was one of the music pools a while back. Where they had it under a Halloween track. I can't remember where it was. Yeah. But even then, even if I got it off iTunes, it's just as illegal as playing any song off iTunes, right? The point is, I didn't bootleg that song. But I still had several people, dude, Disney's going to sue you. Why is Disney going to sue me? Well, they copyrighted that. What do they copyright? The song that they released and they are allowing if you purchase is private event. By law, it's a private event.
How is that any different from any other song you play?
They're like, well, what about the projector mapping? Yeah, it's an idea that they took, but they didn't invent projector mapping. Even then, I still got paranoid, and I contacted a couple people at Disney, and they're like, nah, this isn't something we're concerned with. And even if you outright took the song, you made it into a video, and you capitalized off of it, they're like,
is it worth it for them to really go after you?
No,
it's promoting them still.
Disney, I think, learned their lesson after going after Deadmau5. You guys heard about what happened with Disney Deadmau5, right? Okay, do you know why that lawsuit was settled? Disney backed out of it completely. So what happened was, for those of you guys that don't know, Disney was suing Deadmau5 because of his mouse. It's very iconic to the Disney mouse head. Okay, fine. Then, in the middle of this whole lawsuit, somebody pointed out to Deadmau5, hey, did you know Disney's using one of your tracks for one of their commercials and they never got that authorized? And Deadmau5, he posted this on Twitter. He's like, my, how the turntables have turned. And that was the last you heard of that law. So I think if anything the DJs can really take out of this for our 2017 year review is that if a Megamouse, Behemoth, huh?
Yeah, you're talking dead now.
No, if a big mega corporation, there's a word for. My goodness, I'm really bad today. If a really bigger than conglomerate. I can't remember. Anyways, if a big giant behemoth like Disney can slip up that badly, so can we. I mean, so it never hurts to err on the side of caution. But I think now with everybody posting everything on social media and DJs just being little snitches in general, we're seeing less and less of it. You're seeing less DJs trying to sell hard drives on Craigslist.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing is too, you're seeing a lot less lawsuits in general. I mean,
yeah. When is the last time the RIAA had a lawsuit?
They've kind of cut back from the bad publicity it created.
You mean because they didn't win any of them, or
there's that too? Well, and it looked bad that they're just going after individual people who are making $30,000 a year, and they're trying to sue them for $5 million.
Yep, it's
the RIAA actually came in to name about 8 or 10 years ago to a conference we had. And they actually said, we're not going to go after professional DJs because we know you guys have bought the music, buy it legally.
Uh-oh. Matt got disconnected.
It looks like DJ Ken there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me send him a message. No, Matt.
Oh, no.
You got disconnected. Oh, wow. There's a chat here. Did you guys know there's a chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Holy crap, guys. I just saw the chat. So let's go and read some of them over here. Chris, wow, I'm so new at this. While we wait for Matt to join us back.
It's not our first Zoom either.
Chris Ingram said that he just bought the 12 SPs, that he loves them. Eminem, off topic. Is there different LSF filters as in the degrees? Yes, there are. You have your 60, your 40, your 30. I think there's a 10. And I wouldn't get the 40. That's a waste. And then there's a 60x1. I love the 60x1s, and I just get the general diffusion, and those are fantastic. Actually, for Jake and I's friend Dane, we did their wedding, and they had lights on the floor. Which floods did you use? I know we had 2 tripart profiles.
Mostly part profiles.
No, there was something else that you had on the floor.
Oh, I can't remember what those were. Those were old.
Either way, we had the tripart profiles, and you had a couple of that we were going to hit the back wall, so we used the 60x1, so we just completely washed out 2 of those parts, washed out the walls of this huge venue. It looks so good. So, yeah, and then I definitely recommend that. And DJ Matt got disconnected. So now that we know there's a chat, guys, leave us a comment and stuff.
Oh, here comes DJ Matt.
All right, Matt, come join us one more time, sir. Let me go ahead and send you.
Come on down.
All right, so you said the RIAA visited you guys. They said they're not going to go after major DJs, and then
they silenced him.
Yeah.
Well, I got cut off. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
Sorry, we have Zoom on wife mode, so just be
NSA.
No, the RIAA said they were going to go after professional DJs because they weren't concerned with us at all. They were going to go after the people that were downloading major hard drives and then trying to sell it and make a profit off of it. That's what they said. And so that kind of, they're still going after major DJs or companies that are selling like their whole entire hard drives or libraries or like years and years and years.
Yeah.
But as long as you paid for the service and you can prove it, you're good to go.
But see, that's where it gets interesting. The RIA said that. And they also said in a Molebeat article that, well, you know, if you use a song off iTunes, that's just as illegal as a regular bootleg song. Okay, so then why the hell am I going to buy my songs if it's just as illegal? I'm just going to bootleg the stuff. Then I'm going to use iTunes Match that converts all my bootleg songs into iTunes music, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. But they didn't want the bootleg versions there. That's why.
So, well, and I want to go to the iTunes Match for just a second, but the one thing is that they said that, right? Oh, we're not going to go out. We're only going after the major players, the people that are really bootlegging hordes and hordes of CD or hard drives. But they wind up suing moms whose kids downloaded maybe a gig worth of music. Like, really? Like, you can't say one thing and then show us an entirely different example, because that's not going to stop pirating at all.
It's been the same thing back and forth in the DJ industry and the radio industry for years of the, oh, well, you know, we're never going to come after you. You would purchase all these legalies, but there have been case after case where there have been situations where people have been sued for it.
Again, the difference, you guys remember Napster, Rhapsody, remember all those wonderful things?
Yep.
And what it was doing was it was taking music, like I'm taking 15 seconds of the song over here, taking 15 seconds of the song over here, and it was going after all these people, but you weren't really getting the song from one source.
Mm-hmm.
You might get a song from like 4, even 7 or 10 sources.
Yep.
But what was, you were getting 15 cents, Arnoldo. You know, Chris was getting another 10 cents or 15 cents, and Dean was getting another. So that's, it's going after people that are getting the money for it.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. And then came iTunes Match. And I don't think a lot of DJs saw the huge potential in iTunes Match. For those of you guys that don't know what happened, Steve Jobs basically went to the RIA and said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. People are going to spend $25 a year, not a month. And we're going to take all of their music.
They acquired legally and illegally.
Doesn't matter where it came from, and we're going to turn it into high-quality iTunes digital files. You're going to get a very small fraction of that $25 a year, and you're going to like it. And the RIA said, no, okay. And that's exactly what happened. So there may have been a song or two that are not available anywhere, and I may have bootlegged it, and then I ran it through iTunes Match and got the iTunes version out of it. Maybe. That may have happened. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So this goes on, and I'm surprised DJs didn't catch on to it. And at the same time, well, it's not legal. Yeah, it's legal. It's not within terms of service. And I think we have to understand what the difference between terms of service and legal or illegal really means. You know, I'm not bootlegging music. I'm getting it through iTunes. It may have been bootlegged or downloaded, but downloading music technically isn't as legal, according to the law, as uploading the music. And that's really who they went after. But in general, I think the RIAA really screwed up by not compromising with these companies. You know, they were shutting down companies that were trying to do things legitimately. And I think on a DJ perspective, I mean, Canada has, if anybody hears from Canada, if you guys could tune in, I would love to hear a little bit on your input, because I know Canada and the UK have really strict rules on DJs. Like, they have to pay licensing fees, kind of like ASCAP and BMI. And somebody said that pretty much lets you get your music and source it from wherever you need to, because you're paying for it. So I'm not quite sure how that law works, but I don't know if I'm sure you guys have heard about that before, right?
But it's just like America doesn't stop, you know, those foreign artists from coming after you.
Yeah, but if you're already paying the government, the Canadian government's pretty much protecting you from having somebody come after you because you're paying your licensing. It's kind of like BMI and ASCAP. You know, an artist, Taylor Swift, who thinks she's, you know, higher than God, can't go up to a bar and say, you're playing my music, so now I'm going to sue you, and then I'm going to tell my artist that I'm just being cute and adorable. Tee-hee. I hate Taylor Swift. You guys know. I cannot stand Taylor Swift.
Amen. I've always
What a shrewd businesswoman. Just own up to it that you're all about the money. Anyways. She can't do that to a bar because all they got to say is, nah, B, ASCAP and BMI, so you can take your ASCAP right out of here. And I think that's how it works for the whole Canadian thing. I'm not sure how it works in terms of bootleg songs, but I said, if anybody tunes in from Canada or if you watch this show after the fact, let us know. But I think 2017, I did not hear anything about the RIA at all. Anyway, nor karaoke.
You can't
Karaoke
forget they
is the
exist.
big
Karaoke
thing.
was a tough. This last 2 years have been real tough for karaoke.
Do you do
Karaoke is like non-existent anywhere unless you do digital download or online. That's it.
Wow. Okay, so you do karaoke, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, so tell us, how do you get your music now?
It's real interesting because the RIAA and everybody went after the legal copyright. They did go after Sound Choice. You remember Sound Choice got shut down a few years ago.
Yeah.
Sound Choice was big. Then you had like Sunfly Karaoke. You had Mr. Karaoke, Digital Karaoke Underground, stuff like that. Sunfly went down. Once Sound Choice went out and was taken care of, they started going after the other companies as well. The only source that's out there now, you can go online to Digital Karaoke, but it's expensive. You're looking at paying anywhere from $2 to $3 per song per evening.
Ooh.
Or you have to go to a monthly service or a subscription series, and you have to pay that annually, and you're upwards of $750 to $1,000 just for karaoke.
See, I'd rather pay the $750,000 than $2 or $3 a song.
Right.
And for those of you guys that don't do karaoke, let me tell you how shrewd these people really are. They actually have released, and Matt, I'm sure you've heard about this, they've released some very popular songs on the bootleg sites only. And they send their agents to popular bars around, and if they see that you have that song, they know you're bootlegging your stuff. Right then and there, you get slapped with that suit. I'm like, son of a
Yeah.
Well, the way around that, Arnoldo,
yeah.
the difference is, and it's the same thing with DJing or being a KJ or karaoke host or anywhere, do not charge per song. If you're getting paid for a service, all you're doing is you're providing the services there. You're playing the music, but you're not receiving a fee. Now, it's different if you go to like Nashville or Tennessee, the music city. Everywhere you go, people are paying or tipping their DJ or the karaoke host to sing that song or to hear that song played.
Yeah.
I'm from Massachusetts, and we don't get the funny thing about karaoke, the fee has not gone up at all in the past 10 or 15 years.
Really?
If you're going out to a bar,
costs?
Yep, it has not gone up at all. People don't pay for it.
And see, in Ohio, like, nobody pays anything for karaoke KJs.
Right.
KJs are the guys you pick up for $100 a night.
That's it. 150, $200 a night for karaoke.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we get in Massachusetts. Yep.
That is mind blowing, because I'll be honest with you, I've done karaoke before, and I'd rather stick a hot fork in my urethra
Yeah.
than ever having to do it.
It takes a certain type of person to have to do that every night.
It does. I don't have patience for drunk people. I don't have patience for stupid people. So yeah, I would never be a good karaoke DJ. I just
different than last year. Trivia instead of karaoke, it's either been bingo, music trivia.
Trivia's blown up
trivia
in our area.
Yep.
Really.
Everybody.
But again, same thing. You're not getting more of a fee or more of a price for it than you are for karaoke.
Well, I had a buddy of mine who I DJ'd with for years who he actually basically completely shut down his DJ portion because his trivia nights took off. And it got to the point where he had one bar that had 8 different locations that were paying him to do it at all the different locations. And the money he was making, he just couldn't compare to that DJing what he was making doing the trivia.
I'm so glad you said that. 2017, the biggest thing right now is trivia nights. Man, that is what a low overhead. You need nothing to do trivia nights.
You need to be a good MC.
Yep. And not even that, Mike. I went to Applebee's. I normally hate going to Applebee's because there's usually some DJ there and it's some schlep that just plays the music way too damn loud, and it's horrible stuff. And it's usually 21 just the whole time. But this guy was playing the music quietly. He was doing trivia, and you know what he did, guys? He actually walked table to table to collect each individual thing each time.
That's awesome.
Like,
so you still the paper slips.
I had a great time. And you know what? Every time you would just see people handing them money and stuff with the tips. John, let me catch you up. We're talking about things that you see different in 2017. A lot of DJs using 12-inch speakers now more than ever. A lot less DJs using facades and more using event tables. A lot less witching about sync buttons because now that Serato has sync. We talked about the whole copyright industry just really going askew, and the labels just don't care anymore. I mean, they just have much better things to do because if companies like Apple had said, too bad, we're just going to offer a free-for-all service. And now that led us to the whole karaoke thing.
And Taylor Swift being the root of all evil.
Corporate parties, I know, I mean, I try not to go after corporate parties personally, but I'm hearing this year that a lot of people have gotten a lot of their corporate parties back, that they're seeing more money coming in on that.
Yeah.
How are you three with that? I mean, did you guys get a good amount of corporate parties this year?
Yeah, we got quite a bit.
I've got I just do one, and that's all. I haven't marketed for that in so long. That there's my consistent one that I do every January. Beyond that, though, talking to some of the venues that are in the area, they haven't seen anything for these companies coming back with their events. 10 years ago, they were doing every Friday, Saturday. Now they might have one over the weekend.
See, I'm seeing a lot more of companies doing big events at their corporate headquarters and stuff, and hiring a full production company and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's where I personally then, like, we get a lot more of especially New Year's Eve. I just got hit with 3 or 4. Crap, we need last minute things. Okay, we can do it. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Oh, the other thing also we talked about, John, is that controllers, turntables, CDJs, that's pretty much now all just one thing. Everything is just kind of meshed, where there really is no longer a difference anymore between using controllers and using turntables. And now it's really what feels good in your hands. I used to hate CDJs, now there really is to me no difference between the Nexus 2000, the SZ, or my turntables, except for the fact that I do like the feel of that moving platter. To me, that's easier that way. I know some people that absolutely hate it, but we see a lot less stupid comments from DJs. I mean, you still get some, if you're not using turntables, you're not a real DJ. But
yeah,
we're seeing a lot less of that now, I think, than we ever have in the past.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
Conventions are on the rise.
Some of them.
No, all of them. Okay. All of them, but one really loud one. Yeah. Conventions are I don't think we're done yet or we're not seeing the point that we can actually make a prediction of what's going to happen to conventions, because I would say maybe 5 years ago, we all thought that's it. Moby, they're done for, we
thought so. Yeah.
And then Ryan Berger brought out Jazzy Jeff. Dang, remember the one time we met Jazzy Jeff?
That was pretty cool.
And then he had Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Everything around.
Yeah, no, seriously, that whole year turned Mobile Beat around.
Oh yeah. We still talk about that night.
You're seeing the smaller conventions. Robbie's convention, the one in Tennessee. Help me out with this one, guys. Arms.
Arms DJs.
And it's funny because Robbie kept saying, "Oh, this is the last one." I'm like, "This is not the last one. This is gonna be the greatest marketing stunt ever." And look at it. It was. And good for Robbie, because he's doing really well with that. And I haven't heard a single negative thing about Arms. Which really says a lot, because DJs can find negative things in everything. Right now, I could put my PayPal link where people could click the link and take money out of my PayPal account, and I guarantee you somebody would witch about that. Let me show you. No, I'm just kidding.
Send money here. You're all good. Yep.
Yeah, no.
It processed. Thanks.
So you have that. Midwest DJs, that one seems to be flourishing pretty well, too.
That one's grown quite a bit.
Alton, I know he's involved with the planning process of that. I know those two conventions do so much better if they had a school dance track, but just throwing that out there, guys. Anyways, no, but I mean, those conventions seem to be rising in. If, there was maybe a convention somewhere, maybe like in the Northeast again, that would be great to see one again. John Young.
Or the Great Lakes region.
I was going to say Northeast has a beautiful has Expo. That's
yeah.
Whoa!
Beautiful.
Did you just use beautiful and Expo in the same sense?
I did.
So no, but convention.
What was that? I couldn't hear at the Expo. What?
It's a beautiful experience.
No, but you know what? Even DJ Expo. So here's where it gets interesting, because years ago, those of us that go to conventions knew, oh my God, DJ Expo, it's a buyer show, but there's no content. And the average DJ did not see that, because all they care about is, I can buy gear really cheap. Well, you can buy the gear really cheap at Mobile Beat too, except at Mobile Beat, everybody's obsessed with, strippers and David Copperfield. Hopefully not at the same time.
David Copperfield, for sure.
I'm definitely not going to go to a strip club in Atlantic City. I don't even think there is one, to be honest with you. But
every corner,
the average DJ really didn't see through that. Now you get the average DJ goes like, well, wait a second, there wasn't good content. And to me, that says that now, this past year, DJs more than ever are concerned with education. Doesn't matter where they get it, from, Disc Jockey News, or they get it from these live streams, or they read or something. I'm seeing more DJs now than usual that are actually interested, especially new DJs. You do get new DJs that are asking questions in these groups and such. I mean, John, you're in the business. Do you see more DJs now really interested in the educational side?
I think the younger ones are. And I think a great way to see this is looking at what Digital DJ Tips has been able to do in the last 2 to 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look.
Foregone his early business plan and changed into this educational thing where, I was looking today, he has courses and it's $199 or $197 or something like that to about $300.
Oh, wow.
He's selling these courses, and he's selling on a very regular basis, enough where he has a staff of full-time staff of either 4 or 6 people. So I think there's an educational need out there, and younger DJs I think are wanting to pay for it if it fits their need, and their need right now seems to be what Digital DJ Tips, learning how to do, how to get into Serato, how to get into virtual DJ, how to get into Tractor, how to use your controller to its fulfillment. They're not interested in okay, this is how you speak on a microphone. You don't see that.
No. And you know what? It's interesting you mentioned that, because I think that the two catalysts for getting these younger DJs are Digital DJ Tips and DJ City, the music pool, because they do have now their own videos, really well-produced videos.
Yes, they've done a nice job.
Other videos, including from people like you and myself, John, are linked to those videos on YouTube. So now these DJs are clicking on all these different videos, and they're getting a really thorough education just from seeing the suggested videos on YouTube. But what the heck? What was that? You guys heard that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know what that was. Anyways, Digital DJ Tips, they are a direct competitor to you and I, John, but we got to give them to them. They are crushing. They are crushing this little industry that we are all in.
Mm-hmm.
They are just putting out content consistently, good content. And while some of the content is not different than what you and I put out, they built that young fan base. They went after the fan base that you and I don't think really went after like the way they did.
Not a bit. Yeah.
Because we didn't see younger DJs wanting to get into that. And because they partner up with people like Pioneer, because they partner up with people like DJ City, they blew up big time. So, kudos to them, because, hey, the better they do, the better I think that we all do, which is ultimately the better the DJs and the end users do. Which actually leads to the next big thing in 2017. I'm surprised we haven't talked about it yet. Live streaming. And now that Facebook may be signing this deal with Warner Music, we'll stop getting flagged every 3 or 4 seconds.
That would be nice.
But live streaming is the big thing. And DJs are using this to impress other DJs, which is the stupidest thing ever, when they should be using this to impress their clients. I don't know why.
Again, I'll stop right there, Arnoldo. One of the things I see DJs doing this all over the place recently, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Again, we talked about being a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
If you're so concentrating on how do I look right now, or how do I sound, or this, it's boring sometimes. You watch these videos, and it's like, okay, I heard this song 10 times today. You're playing it again. You're at a corporate event or you're at a holiday event. You're playing the music. You're doing your thing. But if you're focusing on that camera, like right now, how's that benefit your clients?
Exactly.
It really isn't.
Exactly. And especially when it comes to corporate, that is the one where you have to be careful about filming. Because if you're filming something for lawyers or doctors, they do not want to be on video in any way, shape, and form, especially live streaming.
Yep.
Yeah,
but,
I know a few of those.
Yeah, but live streaming, I was going to say, Dane, live streaming is one of those things that, yes, this is going to be the next big thing. And I'll tell you right now, the king of social media, hands down, is Jason Jani. They're
the king of social media, the king of DJs.
There is no denying that what Jason Jani has done with his social media account, it is nothing short of mind-blowing. Yeah, because
you got what I was saying.
Woo! Yes, I did. For those of you guys that don't know, go look up Popeye, played by Robin Williams. That's Jason Jani. I swear to God, when Robin Williams played Popeye, that's Jason Jani. We'll wait while you guys go look. But no,
And once again, we're sorry, Jason.
Look at what Jason Janai did. And somehow this is ready for the most incredible segue. This leads to the number one thing that I think we have not seen as much in 2017. So Jason Janai released a website 4 or 5 years ago. And he and I were talking. And I'm like, dude, I really like that. What WordPress template did you use? And he showed me the website. I'm like, well, cool. If you don't mind, I'd like to use that too. I'm just going to tweak it up. He goes, yeah, go right ahead. And then he changed his website right after. I'm like, you changed your website again? He goes, dude, I did not even realize that when you said, hey, do you mind if I use that template, that you wanted to use that template, that you actually wanted to use that template. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I felt horrible. I'm like, the websites look different because I modified the template. He goes, no, he goes, it just kind of helped me realize that I need to create 100% of my own brand and just pay somebody to make a template from scratch. Mm-hmm. So the segue to that is DJs that would copy other DJs, either intentionally or intentionally. And most of them were intentional. 2016 and beforehand, I would bust 4 or 5 DJs every single week. Not month, not year, week. I had a wall of shame of DJs that I told them, okay, you've got 2 things. This is my lawyer's number. He's going to contact you in about 5 minutes, or you post on your website and social media that you rip 4 schools only off because you have no creative ideas. So I've got a wall of shame of that. After a while, 2016, I got tired of it, and I took several DJs to court using a service that basically searches all the people for me. They sue, and they give me a chunk of the money. Great. This past year, nothing. and it wasn't just me. I've seen less and less DJs talking about somebody else ripping them off. Have you guys noticed that it's been on the decline this year a lot? Or did I just get lucky?
No, I think that's a good point.
I think a little both. I mean, just Jason was just posting a few weeks ago that he was getting ripped off again. People were stealing his logo now and trying to make their own similar. I mean, there's always going to be, but I definitely think to a point it has cut down from what it was. I think part of that is due to the readily available templates and stuff that are out there, that people are less likely to go out and just try and steal what other people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, luckily that's changed.
And it's also become harder to fake it till you make it with these photos anymore. People are most customers are going to do their research and know if it's you or not. I mean, you can't fake that.
No, absolutely. Now that you have services like TinEye that do a reverse image search, it is getting harder and harder to bootleg somebody's stuff, which is good. But so 2018, what do you guys think is going to be the number one thing? Please don't say photo booths. I'm so over photo booths. It's not even fun. I will say this. If the Photo Booth Expo is not 3 times bigger than the DJ Expo, I'm going to be blown away because this past year, it was at least twice as big as a DJ Expo.
And it's at the same time now as Mobeat.
Say what?
The photo booth shows about the same time as Mobeat.
Okay, but it's not at the same time directly, right?
It overlaps, I think.
Yep.
Well, my seminar may not happen. I'm just kidding.
Well, going back to the idea of the conferences, one of the big things is going to be the marquee show. It's going to be happening in Chicago. That's going to be photo booth and DJ entertainment. So that'll be an interesting one to take a look and see what happens.
That's going to be either an incredible show or it's going to be an incredible show that people didn't attend. And I don't know if the price is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I think the price, I think, is going to be an issue. And with it being the first one, I don't know if necessarily people are going to go attend it because they don't know about it.
I mean, I do know what they're looking for in speakers, and this is what Marquee is doing right. And I've witched about this before. The DJs will just listen to any random schlep because they're called an expert without any research as to who they are, how much money they may owe to the government, whether they even have a DJ business or not. Oh, this is an expert. Let's listen to them, right? And I'll pick on some of the well-known major DJs or people in our industry that talk to DJs. I've asked, new DJs, hey, do you know who this speaker is or this speaker is? Well, yeah, they're a speaker. But what did they do? What is their business? Where are they based out of? Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. I forgot his name. Guerrilla marketing guy.
Jay Conrad.
No, not Conrad. There's the other one. Oh, my gosh. I can't remember.
Guerrilla marketing? Yeah.
No, there's another guy that pushes the
Conrad
whole.
Levinson, was it? Or
I can't remember who it is for DJs. He does stuff with what's it called? He does stuff for like Moby and all that. He knows his stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't remember what his name is now. But anyhow, I've asked DJs, okay, do you know who this guy is? No. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you should before you go listening to him. What Marquee is doing is, I mean, they're really vetting their speakers. Like, you have to prove not just that you know your stuff, but that you actually have a successful business.
Yeah.
So that I'm looking forward to. 2018, I'm, just quick plug. I'm really looking forward to. I don't know if you heard, Mobile Beat Jason Jani is doing a seminar, a branding seminar. Yes. You can call me a fanboy all you want, but yeah.
I don't think there are many DJs out there that aren't fanboys of Jason.
But no,
he's a good man.
I think for those of you that do, especially if you get your news from like either your First or Disc Jockey News, you're going to see a lot of us really confused about what to do with YouTube right now. John, I'm sure you've been seeing YouTube acting really weird on live streams where it's just no longer enjoyable. Or am I still just the only one in the world having that problem?
We've had that problem for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some YouTube have been problematic, but I think a part of that is, and we've had issues with the YouTube dropping recently with our internet connection, and we're finding out that a lot of it is due to these little devices right here, our Apple devices. Apple, with their recent updates and such, will monopolize our internet connection during our show. Where all of a sudden it'll be like, and I know this because my son now is working for our ISP locally here, and he's like, yeah. All of a sudden you'll see Apple taking all 20 meg of our bandwidth. Like,
really?
Okay. So
what do you guys think about the new announcement that was like last week that they're slowing down the older iPhones when the new ones are released?
That's no surprise. They've been doing that for years. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
but they finally admitted it. So
that's probably, well, we're doing it because your battery may be old. Okay, my car doesn't get slower because the battery's old.
No, you can replace the battery.
The problem is you can only get away with certain things if you got a smooth spokesperson. Apple no longer has that. They don't.
Yeah.
Okay? Yep. Steve Jobs could have easily talked himself out of that. Tim Cook will never be able to. And speaking of that, you guys think 2018 will be the year where tablets will finally be able to be respectable DJ playback systems over a laptop?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We need the right developer. We need the right developer.
That's what it's going to take, is somebody who's willing to actually develop it. Correct.
Virtual DJ 8 was supposed to run natively on iOS, according to the guys at Virtual DJ. That never happened. Yeah. But I can tell you that if I can get my iPad to run Virtual DJ Pro, there'd be several events like, screw it. Yep. I'm good. I'll just run.
Oh, yeah. Well, how many times even just doing like ceremonies and stuff would it be nice just to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm just...
One of the things I'd like to see coming this year is a controller.
What the heck is that noise?
Eminem's microphone. Just mute their mic, Arnoldo.
Oh, sorry, Eminem. I gotta mute you, bud.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, they can still hear it and everything, but yeah, there must be something that must be moving around and such. So
okay,
a good controller with multiple microphone inputs.
Hey, what? I'm sorry.
A multiple controller with multiple microphone inputs.
As in more than two.
Yep.
That would be nice to see. That would. And you know what? I think we may see, I'm not saying they mentioned anything. I'm just complete speculation. I think if anything, it's going to be Rain, because Rain is now part of the N Music group. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's going to make it, it's going to be Rain. Maybe American Audio, because JC does think pretty forward ahead with that. Mm-hmm. So maybe. And then 2018 will be the answer of what's going to happen with the mics. You guys know that the 600 has just been sold off.
Yep.
But if you saw the live stream that we did with Audio Technica, they are working with T-Mobile about could there be a compromise of some kind. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to hear something about it this year to find out what's going to happen. Because those of you guys that don't know networking, I'll leave it to you like this. You can't have both on the same network. Mm-mm. But it all depends on what channel is in and if T-Mobile doesn't use a particular set of channels. Mm-hmm. So,
T-Mobile kind of holds the cards right now.
They do.
I mean,
but
they hold all the cards, so it depends on what they're going to do.
But you never know. You know, they may say, you know what, we don't need this set of channels. You can use them. I don't know. It'll be really interesting. So I'm definitely rooting for people like, obviously, EV is going to be working on that. I know Audio Technica is. I'm sure Shure and Sennheiser are. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. And
I still blame FCC, but
I agreed.
they
But-
screwed us over, 5-6 years ago, and then now they're doing it again.
Those
Yep.
bastards.
So I believe. How long is this show going till? Do we just go OT?
Yeah, if you guys want to keep going, I've got to wrap up and head to the house here. And
All right,
the kids.
John. Anything you need to let the viewers know?
No, just
Shortly too.
kind of a cool night of hanging out and such. So it worked. It worked well, and some rooms worked better than others as far as we were getting some technical.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, I didn't realize that Dan didn't log into the pro version of his Zoom. He went to the free version.
Oh.
40 minutes, click.
Oh,
So we're learning. But it was a good. We had some good conversation and such. So guys, you just have a good evening and hang out and wrap up when you're done. And I'll see some of you next Tuesday. I'm gonna go spend some time with my family.
All right, sir.
Take it easy, John.
I'll see you next year. Haven't heard that before.
All right, catch you later.
See ya.
Thank you.
So yeah, it'll be an interesting year. Alan Berg. That was the guy's name.
Yeah, I remember now.
So yeah, I mean the Marquee show seems to have some pretty good people, and Andy Ebon. That was the other one that I couldn't remember either.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought they were all one and the same people. But yeah, it's 2018 should be interesting. I'm hoping that we see. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. My school business is doing fantastically well, and I worried about prom season. Just speaking on a personal level, because we had a lot of clients that we couldn't do this year because we're already booked out on their date, or they got new advisors, or they went to a hotel or Disney where they have their own DJ. So believe it or not, I mean, I'm talking almost $50,000 in lost sales. And over 2/3 of that was because they were all on April 14th and we're solid booked. And I can't take anymore. And guys, let me tell you, losing $30,000 on one date really freaking sucks. So I panicked. I'm like, I set an unrealistic goal for myself, and thank God I'm about not even $7,000 away from reaching that goal. So I'm like, I'm really proud of myself. But I remember 5-6 years ago, that would have been impossible because it's not really the economy's getting better. People have been spending money like crazy, but I think people are now, because the last few years have been very steady for us, I think people are more apt to spend more money. They're less apprehensive about hoarding as much money as they can.
Well, I think too, in your situation, once people have been with you for a while, they've seen that they're still getting the turnouts from the kids. They're seeing the money coming in, so they're more willing to spend it because they know the kids will continue to come.
I mean, obviously, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, that's a big thing, but I mean, just in general, I have corporate events that before, we can't spend any money now. Okay, well, we can definitely spend some money. Just the economy's been good to us. We're doing great. They're not having to worry about holding that money to carry them the next year because they know that they're doing okay. and that's hopefully that remains.
Yeah.
I think this is also the year that DJs learn, or just people in general learn, that when you see something that sounds a little too good to be true, that rhymes with Itcoin, you don't go and invest $10,000 when you know there's going to be a crash coming soon. I take that as a business lesson for everybody. Let things ride out sometimes. If you didn't jump on it early enough, don't jump on it right when it's at its peak. Yeah. You guys saw what happened with Bitcoin. Did it surprise anybody that it tanked like that?
Oh, don't worry. It's going to do it again probably in the next week or so. You do realize why it tanked, right?
No, what exactly happened?
So one of the creators actually cashed out most of his Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash.
Oh.
And then Bitcoin Cash skyrocketed. And I'm going to bet he's probably going to reinvest that again and control the markets.
So what you're saying is it's almost like stocks.
Bitcoin Cash is actually being investigated for insider.
The ironic thing is that I'm totally against Bitcoin, and not getting too political. It's not political, it's fact. Yeah. I've been weird about investing in Bitcoin because it's backed by nothing.
Yep.
But so is the US dollar. So it's like, okay, it's all the same. But no, there's a good business lesson out of that. I've been actually working on an article that I'm releasing for Moldbeat soon enough, that we need to learn from Bitcoin that, it's kind of like when the Chinese paper lanterns came out. When that first came out, that was a huge trend. At least here it was. And we jumped in on it at its peak, and we sold it twice, and that was a lot of money that went down to Darjeeling. And
how many forest fires did you start?
no, we still have them all just in case. I don't know if you ever put a Chinese lantern up, but I can totally see why people charge so much money.
I don't know. But they're illegal in Ohio, so.
No, not the ones that go up in the air. The ones that you hang.
Oh, those. Yeah.
Terrible. It was like lesson, the same lesson. Like, okay, so I need to either get in on this trend really, really early, or wait till it becomes retro. Because if you don't,
photo booth
is different. But photo booth got interesting. I know, Dane, you don't do photo booths because you just rather stick a hot fork in your urethra too, I guess. We unfortunately own 14 because the hot fork, I guess, wasn't hot enough. Matt, how many do you own?
None.
Okay.
Don't do it. Yep.
So photo booth got interesting because it became a really expensive thing when it first came out, and now there's so many people that are offering a good photo booth at a low price that it drove the market down. Now you could say, well, it's not a commodity, but it is. Photo booth is 100% a commodity. It's not. There's no talent to making sure your photos print. There isn't. You're never going to convince me of that. Okay, I run 14 of them in one freaking weekend. You're never going to convince me of that. It's a damn photo booth.
They all work the
Some
same.
are better than others. Some printers are better than others. Some people use DSLR or webcam. Most people don't care because professional photo booths use webcam. But it's a commodity, and it is a market that has been driven down, and you are seeing people make photo booths themselves. This guy over here. But ours look good. They don't look like, horse garbage. Then you see the beautiful Atlanta photo booths. Atlanta photo booth is beautiful. Just hands down, Steve Lynch is a master crafter.
Lynch is doing good work.
And if you have a Lynch booth or an Atlanta photo booth, yeah, you can pretty much charge a higher premium, but otherwise, no, you're not going to be able to. So photo booth will be interesting. And I think we're going to see that stabilize. And I don't mean that in a good way in 2018. I think photo booth will no longer be a, premium add-on as much as it's going to be the next Uplights. Oh, if you book DJ, you're going to get a photo booth for free. Mark my words. That's what's going to happen.
We're seeing that around here. There are a lot of DJs that are offering that, and there are a lot of brides that will come and say, "Can I get a photo booth for like $200?" No, you can't.
Yeah. No, we're gonna see that stabilize. I'm really curious what's gonna happen.
What percentage of photo booth versus DJing do you do, Arnoldo?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
What percentage of photo booth versus DJing or entertaining do you do?
Oh, I am not a photo booth operator. We'll go back to the hot fork urethra one. That's why I run a multi-op in that sense. The photo booth, yes, we have some photo booth only events, but most of the photo booths are an add-on to an event. Yeah. And yeah, we do the whole, I've used the photo booth. Hey, listen, if you book a multi-year contract, I'm going to throw a photo booth for free. But when you're talking about $8,000 to $10,000 contracts, yeah, I'm going to throw in the photo booth because that's how I retain my client, or I get a new one in. Or, photo booth is also a great donation for us. We do a lot of the stuff for like Children's Miracle Network or ESC Prom. Yeah, we'll donate a photo booth. Doesn't cost me that much money. Or it's also great advertising. We'll do the D3 or what they call the district meetings for these schools where several counties get together and all the decision makers for all these schools are in one room. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to bring a photo booth for free. All our advertisements all over that photo booth. So photo booth is going to be, I think, this is a year where we're going to.
It's going to be the uplighting of this year. It's going to be the PSA thing.
Except for the people who do something different with it. Either the flipbook photo booth or the photo booth that you can draw on.
Or the ones that do like the video.
Yep. So I think is what we're going to see. But as far as standard click photo booth, I will say this, and you guys are hearing it here first. Selfie stations are going to be the big thing this year.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically where you charge for a photo booth minus the photo booth. And just really good lighting. That we've done that already for a few schools, and it has been wonderful. Charge enough that you'll never see those props ever again because you're not.
You probably don't want to.
Yep. It's because you don't have an attendant there. All you have is a light. You have all your props laid out, and that's it. That is it. You don't need an attendant there. I mean, it's the stupidest easy money ever. And it's something that schools absolutely love, especially if they can't afford a photo booth, or even if they have a photo booth, they also like that selfie area as well. So I definitely would say that if you're not doing selfie stations already, you need to do that. Snapchat filters. If you're good with Photoshop, you can make
Oh, yeah.
some good money making a Snapchat filter. Right now on Snapchat, I can make a filter for any of us, for an event. But I can actually create a good-looking Snapchat filter. That's going to be the next big thing. The fact that I can custom make Snapchat filters. We've been doing that for school since Snapchat has allowed that feature. And sometimes we throw it in, sometimes it's $100 or whatever. And it's every time, yeah, we want to do it. Yeah, we want to do it. That's something people don't say no to, plain and simple. So I think that's it. So,
yeah.
Oh, and my 2000, real quick before we end, business-wise, guys, what is your 2018 resolution? Have you come up with any yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet, really? Mine, and I know there's comments on, by the way. Eminem said he didn't know the mic was on. No worries. He's got 2 photo booths. He gets mostly booked for photo booth now versus DJ. That's pretty interesting. So I have 2 of them. I want to be a little bit better prepared. Like I said earlier, I spend way more money in payroll and capital this year than ever before. But even on little things, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I just bought this. You guys know what this is?
Mm-hmm.
The credit card multi-tool.
Oh,
yep.
I'm trying to take this out so you guys can see. It's a cute little wallet too.
I've got one somewhere.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how many events I've been at where I need to fix something and I have no tools on me. I'm like, man, I wish I had one of these things. So yeah, that's my New Year's resolution. I want to be better prepared. And I got to spend more money on certain things. Like, especially when you're running, 14 photo booths and you have 20 CompuShow computers and lasers.
You aren't sending out a toolkit with every system?
We are, but for some of my smaller events, no, I don't bring one with me. So I'm like, I don't need it. And then your girl stuff goes on. I'm like, oh, crap. But even, I'm saying just beyond the tool thing, especially for those guys that do bigger events or not bigger events, but have multi-ops. We're going to be sending everybody with a Verizon hotspot, Verizon for obvious reasons. And we're going to have TeamViewer on every single computer. Because I can't tell how many times somebody tells me, hey, there's an issue with the photo booth, and I can't really explain it to them. So we're spending half an hour on FaceTime when I could have just logged in and fixed it quickly remotely over them. Mm-hmm. That's really my big New Year's resolution. And yeah, I think that's it. So, all right. On behalf of Disc Jockey News, Garrett first, Dane, Matt, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Those of you guys that are on the chat and we're watching, thank you guys so much. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Garrett First, Disc Jockey News. Dane will one day have his own YouTube channel, maybe. Matt, do you have a YouTube channel or any social media?
Working on it right now. Yep.
Awesome.
What we're trying to do right now. Yep.
All right. Well, do me a favor. You know my Facebook, Matt. Shoot me a message. Yep. We got to bring you into another show. You need to do a rant show with us.
Come into Jog Wheels.
You need to do it's an after-hour show. All right, that's a fun show. That's the one where the kids have to go to sleep.
Yeah. Let me know when. I've seen a few of them already.
And if you don't leave offended, then we didn't do our job.
Exactly. So anyhow, guys, thank you so much. Happy New Year. May you be blessed. May your business do well, and may your enemies crumble. Have a good night. And I guess how do we end this? Do we just stop?
I'm guessing.
Okay, I'm going to hit the end meeting. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.